Deathless is an improvised cinematic narrative with live production, including music and dialogue. There is no script. This story contains violence, disturbing imagery, adult themes, and a darkness which may leave you doubting who you are. Proceed at your own risk.
Shake, shake, shake me awake. Rip me from slumber and fight for me, fight for me. Shake, shake, shake me awake. Rip me from slumber and fight for me, fight for me. Ache, ache, ache for me, babe. Shout from the depths that you want me to stay. Fight for me, fight for me, fight. I want you to fight for me. I want you to fight for me. Shake me away, rip me from slumber and fight for me. I want you to fight for me, babe. They say stand up for the things you can't stand to lose. Despite what my heart can't feel.
The stake pierces deep, pinning the great Viking against the deteriorating stone statue's base. The wet crack of bone splits sharp through the still air, and for a moment there is nothing. Then, a heat, unnatural, kindles beneath the surface of his skin, tracing the tangled map of his veins until the blood itself seems to catch fire. The otherworldly blaze claims him in a slow rolling wave, eating through flesh and muscle in shimmering currents. His skin blisters and splits, tendons blacken and snap like burned twine. His ribcage sags open as the fire hollows him out. When it is done, he remains frozen in place, a brittle figure of ash, trembling on the edge of collapse, little more than the memory of a man.
I stand up and I clean the stake on my cloak and put it in its place.
Nine. Why did you do it? He was out of his mind. Clearly. Could you not see?
He knew what he wanted. I would give you the same courtesy.
You can undo it, no? Can you undo it? I'm taking steps back, away from all of them, from this.
I spread my hands. There are some choices that cannot be undone. He knew that this was one of those. He wanted peace. Now he has it. And we must move on. We have tasks that must be completed. Should we refuse to face them, we will not get a choice at all.
Is he just like the shape of himself, but ash, you said, Peeves?
Mm-hmm. He's like basically honestly, he looks like the statues that are, surrounding you, sort of, but he's made of ash.
You're right. We need to move on. And I step on his head.
How does his body react to that? Does it just...
It crumbles.
Yeah.
If he was too weak to want to live, we cannot cry over this for long. We need to get out of here. He did not want to keep going. We want to keep going. He can stay here with all these other forgotten gods as well.
I do not think you know the difference, Esteban, between strength and stubbornness.
I am not the one who is dust under my boot.
Fine then, lead on. Shall we leave them here? I point to Cora and Moog. Do I still see him?
Oh.
Do I still see him?
Yeah, of course.
What's he doing? Is he just staring at me with a smile still?
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel free? Like, do we know that we're not in the same state we were before?
Yes, that ended.
Okay.
Yep. That ended.
And we're aware he did it. Or they did it.
Yeah, I think we were always
Yeah.
aware.
Yes.
Okay.
You were aware that something was being done to you for sure. If you don't see Ishna, then I don't think that you would know that obviously he's the one that did it, but I know Constantine does know that. But you do know something, you know, the compelling was done by something else. For sure, you knew that. You weren't just spitting out the truth for no reason. The compulsion for sure.
And it doesn't look like we'll be able to get the two of them out of there.
Then we
least-
leave them.
Considering what it did to Gunnar as he tried to get in the little blood bubble, I mean, that's up to you whether you think it's possible or not, but
No.
yeah.
There is no way after that.
I look down at Cora and Ishna and Moog. Well then, let's leave them.
I might be able to get them out.
Lustig. You're a funny man. Why did you not do that before then? What is it?
I was
How?
busy. I pull out the dagger. And this has Moog's real name on it. And I walk over to Moog. Can I tap it on the shield? Is it like solid? What?
Yeah, yep.
happens?
It's like a I was gonna say it looks like it's made of blood and smoke, but it's a sphere around him protecting him. Yeah, it's like a shield of magic. And I mean, I don't know if you like, you'd have to actually touch it if you want to see that it's solid, but Gunnar was able to get into it, like he walked into it as he was being rocked. You know, he was half in it. So it doesn't look like it's solid like a wall based on what happened to him.
I suppose the question is, what good would getting to them do us?
Yeah, ich weiß nicht. At this point, I don't care.
If they could get up, they would. We would just be carrying them along.
And that sounds like, and looks like, they're in perfectly capable hands, nah?
Well, we still have to figure out where to go.
I start looking around. Is there any sign of an exit here?
Not at the moment,
None.
no.
But it didn't open up to the next room after we solved the puzzle.
No. Everything started to shake and the statue started to crumble, but there is no door that has opened. You're still in this round room.
Foolish. Idiotic. Pointless. How bad was it even in that coffin? Who knows? I was just asleep. And what of the point of this? So, Stalker, since you know so much, get us out of this fucking room.
I'm curious about the ceiling. Can I investigate and see if the words are there?
How would you like to investigate?
I can climb up there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, are you using your eyes or are you using some sort of magic to kind of,
I would use my eyes.
Okay. So body roll, please. Difficulty 40. And then I'm also going to have Cora and Moog roll. Whatever your magic stat is, difficulty 20, please.
$62.
A 75.
Okay.
And I got a 56.
Mm-hmm. How do you climb up the wall to get to the ceiling? I assume it's just like full-on spider climbing, right? Or
I think it would be... I don't think I have spider climb, but...
You do not, your pulse rate
yeah,
does.
the other one does.
Yes.
I think I would just... It would look like an experienced rock climber. You know, the strength of a vampire we probably have really good grip strength, so I'm finding purchase and pulling myself and using my feet and hands and sort of rock climbing up there.
And is that how you got up there the first time? Rock climbing?
Yeah, I think so.
Nope.
I was going to say, I don't think so, because the walls are smooth. I can't imagine you find purchase. Like,
I
rock
spider
climbing
climbed
is...
you up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think with
Well, then
you know,
I
bouldering
can't get
and
up
stuff.
there. I can climb a statue.
You could absolutely climb a statue for sure. However, with a 56, when you get up there, I think you see grooves, because they would physically be there. But for whatever reason, I don't think you can make out. And this is specific. Like, I think you look at that and go, wait a second, that doesn't spell anything. There are grooves in this wall, but it doesn't look like it's in the same spot where the sentences were, right? In 3 different rows, but it doesn't really make anything up. It looks like runes that you don't recognize almost.
I jump back down. Well, we can escape with the dagger, but I don't know how much that will help us. We were meant to continue on here.
Fine. What is our next step then? This puzzle.
Well, it said on the ceiling, right? To open the way, know us, and speak them true. But we did this.
We did. Clearly it was not enough. I would like to start investigating around the room to see if there's anything that I can find, any clue as to what to do next.
Yeah, it just looks like the entire room has been submerged in water for a very long time. The statues have been damaged. The copper plates are eaten away. The ceiling again doesn't light up. You might be able to make out, some depressions in the ceiling, but it doesn't seem to spell anything.
So sorry if you literally just said this. The plates are all in the same place that we left them, right?
Yes.
Okay. Right, so it was underwater. Different, but the same. It could be that we are back home now. Standing in the same place. But we need a door. If only our clever little princess were not collapsed on the floor.
Speaking of, will you two roll again? Moog and Cora, roll again, same difficulty.
A 92 for me.
16.
Moog,
Yes.
you're gonna take a hit of health.
All right.
Cora's eyes flutter for a moment, but she does not wake up.
Okay, so we're underwater. This room was full. Now it is empty. There is no door. Everything is as it was left.
Is there a drain? Or do we swim up to get out of water?
I look up. There's no words as it was before on the ceiling. But there were runes, or is that only to be seen close up when you're like where Stalker is?
I think you can see that too. It's very clearly not it's not words like the sentence that you saw before, but it's runic things that you don't recognize. Like it's not like Norse runes that are very recognizable,
Yeah, okay. I start pacing. What could it be telling us? Where are we? What does it want? Scheiße. I look back at the ceiling. And this feels so childish. What do I want? I want out. I shout, "Let me out. I want out. Open the door."
Nothing happens. Unless you'd like to try to do some magic bullshit, in which case we can roll for it.
I don't even know what magic bullshit I would do personally. That's the thing.
Why don't you roll anyway? Roll your magic stat. And if you get a 1, 11, 22, or 3, something fucking crazy will happen. Because I
Okay.
like chaos.
Mm-hmm. Difficulty? I guess it
It
doesn't
doesn't matter, yeah.
15.
Close, but no cigar.
Close, but no cigar. Trying to think, like... If it was submerged, what state would everything have been in if it was underwater? In like a hold state that being out of water would create the access to something that we'd need. Esteban is right. Being able to reach the ceiling in some way. Being able to swim up there. Oh man.
What was making the ceiling light up before?
Well, it was like the old room, so, and it was us doing the puzzle with the plates. But the plates are in their exact spot now.
Right, but you had
We could take the
said-
plates off.
You had said your name, and it lit up, and you are not on a plate.
Yeah. True name. Constantine.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay, cool.
Maybe it was not a puzzle, but an access to a prison. And we are to die here. The joke all along. Make them desirous of getting home. Put a way to do that. They imprison themselves. I'd like to crouch down and like look at the stone on the floor and in between the cracks of each stone. I assume it's like some sort of cobble.
Yeah, I think that we said most of the room is like slate.
Right.
As well as the stone statues mostly, so that it would show water damage.
Yeah.
No signs of salt, right? Should just be fresh
I have
water.
to think. I don't know if that's true, actually, because isn't this connected directly to the fucking ocean?
I mean, but it would be up river a bit, so it's not like, unless there were underground things from the ocean that mix with the...
I think that technically there would be, right? Because even though... we'll Google it, but as far as you know, no.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
I will walk over to Esteban. May I? And I reach for your wrist.
To hold it out.
I take your wrist and I bite into it violently so that you bleed. And then I hold your wrist upside down over the ground.
Since you were wondering, while you're doing that, I say, since you were wondering, I can tell you what it was like for him in that coffin. It was hell. It was loneliness. The only people he saw for 800 years were his captors, and he could do nothing to them. that it did not break him.
Didn't it?
It sounds like he was broken before. He was broken when he was made what we are.
I reach out and I'm still squeezing your wrist as the blood is coming from it, and I sort of trace a finger down your chest. And when were you broken?
Far too long ago for me to remember. And then a little while after that, and then a little while after that, and then perhaps 20 years after that. A few times.
I look down. Is anything happening now that his blood is being spilled on the slate?
You can roll for me. Again, it's going to be crazy shit.
Yeah.
And you're just putting it on the floor, correct? You just like bit into him, tore him open, and it's going onto the floor? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just slinging on whatever statue's near me.
Okay.
Yep.
68.
You can roll too, Esteban.
Sure. Magic or?
Yep.
Okay. What is the difficulty? 30?
Doesn't matter because it's 1,
Okay,
11,
it doesn't
22,
matter.
or 33.
Oh, okay, it's
We'll
that.
go.
Nope.
That's a 45 for those listening. Okay. Nothing happens. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna lick myself closed, which is a weird sentence to say out loud.
I look at Cora. I'm frowning. And see that stupid creature still hunched over her. I start walking over to the walls, and I'm just gonna start speaking German to them. I'm just gonna like
statues?
walk around. Yeah, sure. The walls, the statues. I'm telling them my life story in German. Like, und dann, ich war geboren, 22 Januar, blah, blah, blah. I'm just kind of like listing, and I'm touching them. I'm giving them information about myself. I'm revealing myself to them. I just like trying to treat the room like it's a living thing that needs attention somehow. And then I start asking it about it. And what about you? What happened to you? So underwater, huh? Salt. Were there creatures down here? Dark, terrible things? Whales, fish? Did they keep you alive? Did they drown you? Are you dead now and you were alive before? You know, I'm just like trying whatever the fuck I can. Looking crazy, I'm sure.
Oh, Constantine is walking around the room, his fingers trailing along the destroyed slate wall, and he is speaking very lowly in German. Moog, make me a roll, please. Same difficulty.
Same.
Yep.
It was 20, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
79.
Okay, thank you. Nothing happens, Constantine, as you tell the story, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I have nothing. I'm too stupid for these things. The smart one is unconscious. The one who could, I don't know, kick down the wall is dead. Stalker, perhaps, since you are so knowledgeable, and perhaps you could do something. But I have nothing more to add. So, it's been lovely, gentlemen. I've enjoyed nearly every second. But I think it is done. What more could they want?
What happened to you, Constantine? Where was the man who was fighting alongside me in the alleyway against that shadow creature? Kept pushing and pushing and pushing until you had won. Now you walk around the room for 20 minutes and you give up? What are you going to do? Stay here for eternity in the corner talking to broken statues?
Well, I don't know. Maybe a stalker over there could release me from the prison of existence.
If you wish it.
I don't know, Esteban. Would you prefer we fuck? Do you have an idea?
If I thought it would get us out of the room, I would do whatever I could, but haven't I spent much time on this at all?
I start pulling off the plates. Fine. Let's redo the puzzle then. Let's redo the poem.
Remember, they are dead. And now they look like they have been dead and forgotten.
Dead and forgotten. I'm looking around at the statues again.
Mm-hmm.
Dead and forgotten.
Perhaps remove their names.
I remove their names.
Perhaps we have to put it all back into the box as was.
You remove the nameplates.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens. I'm so sorry when you do that. Mm-hmm.
Well, when something is dead, it changes form. It is remembered differently. Perhaps where we had to find the right ones before. Is there a difference in how one could be remembered? Long dead.
I want to grab a handful of Gunner Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Just holding it for a minute while I think.
I will. I'm sorry. What was that?
No.
What was that motion?
It's fine. Let the podcast
Not like this,
listeners
but like this.
not have it.
Come watch the show, everyone.
Hey, a few more and it's going to spray out all over the wall. That's the plan.
Is it caustic? will it eat its way through the wall?
Oh my god.
I just thought of a band name.
No, it's not caustic. No.
Rhymes with
No.
nope. Nope.
Okay. Well, I say inpu, inpu, inpu. Does anything happen?
No.
And
Sorry.
I say they were once worshipped, feared, fed with blood and song, but names rot like bodies. To open the way, know us and speak them true.
Gunner,
Nothing.
Gunner, Gunner.
Nothing happens. I'm so sorry.
Nothing.
Nothing
Okay.
happens. I'm so sorry.
Can I just say I'm
Oh, what the fuck
absolutely
did he
loving.
say? He said his name at one point,
No, that was
didn't he?
Stalker saying
No,
Sandman.
no. But didn't he have like
Oh.
a? Didn't he have a? He had a like a like a.
Oh. I think we named him at one point, but I can't remember.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was writing stuff down, but I don't think I could have spelt it correctly anyway.
I absolutely love PB being like,
It's the moment of
I
fucking made the puzzle too hard. You guys are just overthinking it so hard, and I cannot help you.
Oh.
I don't know what to do. I just have to be here like, well, fuck me, dude. They're stuck here. They're dying here. It's over.
I walk
No,
over to the
no,
wall
no,
and I
we'll
just
figure it
knock
out.
on it. Thump, thump.
Yep. The clue I gave you is like sent you in a crazy direction, and I just have to sit here and be like, all right then. I guess I'll die.
Can I roll again?
For a hint? Sure.
Just roll
Yeah.
until we get a one. I like to roll for this. Yeah.
I want. Oh,
Tell you what,
man.
though, Moog can roll one more time, and hopefully Cora will wake up.
Speaking of dying in a room,
Oh
66.
my god!
Well, that's called manifesting. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Bye, Craig.
First of all,
Okay, that's 2 now, Greg. 2 hit
All right.
points. So that's a total of 4 that you've lost now, correct?
Yes, correct.
What are you at now?
He's
6.
Okay.
yeah, man. I mean, I'd love to help
Okay.
you out, but you have some fucking bitch ass whoreson hanging over Cora's head who's like fucking with all our shit.
It's all right. I'm sitting there playing guitar in my brain.
Yeah, it would be really nice if the smart one was
I-
conscious.
I
Go back to.
will
sorry.
say that, as this is happening, the health that is coming from Moog is going into Cora. Like, her eyes flutter
I see.
again, but, you
No,
know.
keep rolling, Greg.
I think with that most recent roll, I will wake up.
Her eyes
Oh my
flutter
God,
open. I
Fucking
don't
solve
know
this
if
immediately.
I don't know if you guys notice right away, but her eyes do flutter open, and then maybe as you're looking at these plates or talking to each other, or arguing or whatever, and then all of a sudden you look over and the bubble is gone, and you can no longer see Ishna either, and the bubble is gone off of Moog as well. They're just laying on the floor.
I'm gonna be incredibly disoriented.
You feel great
Probably-
though.
Okay.
Yep. But I will say everything from the Moog episode, you remember that. Yeah. You can
Okay.
take that with you, yeah.
Okay. Then I think I would also be saying like Moog's name in concern and like looking around. 'Cause that was the last thing I think we said as the dream was fading.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think I would be looking around me actually. Is Moog next to me? on the floor, still unconscious?
I think we decided that you guys were not next to each other because I think you were near the center plates, and then he was by the one statue, the stranger.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a circular room. It's not like you're too far from each other, but you're not immediately right next to each other, no.
Okay. Yeah, then I would just be kind of blinking and taking in the room, maybe mumbling, what happened?
Oh.
Perhaps. Oh, sorry.
I think as you get up and look around, like I can't imagine that it is difficult to miss that there is no gunner in the room, and there is ash outline of him, sort of. I think you stomped on his head, and he was sitting up, right? So it's probably just
Was
a
he
pile.
sitting up? I thought he was pinned.
He was pinned
I thought I was
against
on
the
top of-
statue, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So like I imagine he was like sitting up against the statue.
Looks like I have powdered donut stains on my on my cloak and chest.
Okay, Cora's the smarty. He's got ash on his cloak, and then there is also a pile of ash on the floor, but Gunnar is nowhere to be seen.
In the shape of a person, yeah, okay.
Sort of. I think he stepped on his head, so I imagine it's like it's just a pile of ash now. But yeah, there are probably bits. You saw Interview with a Vampire 1997 with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Yep.
Everyone saw
Historical reference. Yeah.
historical
we all
reference.
studied the historical text before we started playing.
Then the spoilers. I was about to spoil a very, very old movie, but also potentially a TV show, so I'm not going to do that. But yes, there is a character in there that is like turned to ash, and it's like you can still see their form, but once you touch it, it kind of like crumbles. So there's probably like fingers. Maybe
It's a
you
bit
can see?
Pompeii.
Yeah.
It's a bit Pompeii.
That's what I was
Yeah.
picturing.
Wonderful. I mean, wonderful that you were picturing that.
That's so insensitive, Phoebe.
I can't believe you're a supporter of Pompeii in the year
Excuse me.
2025.
Excuse me.
In the year of our Lord 2025.
Canceled,
Too
dude.
soon.
Pompeii.
Too soon, PB. Okay, so Cora asks what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I whip around and look at you. Why don't you ask that? And I point to your general direction. It, him, whatever you call it.
Oh no.
We met your friend. We do not like him.
Well, the feeling seems to be mutual, darling.
My
I think
friend.
you
Your
had a
friend.
wonderful time with us. Yes.
Oh,
Do you
princess,
see that
you're
bubble
making me angry
around
with your
Moog?
confusion.
Yes,
Is the bubble
one that
still
is-
up around Mook? So sorry,
Oh,
Trench.
it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. No, that's good.
Okay.
My friend. I'm guessing you're not talking about Moog.
I literally, she has seen me. She's been around me, I think, long enough to know. An expression flashes across my face that she has never seen me make. And it is like pure, unadulterated rage. And to a face and a visage that is so carefully, constantly concealed and like smoothed out and nice and pleasing, I think it would be frightening, actually. Like, I was just about to make a reference. You know when your mom is mad at you and then she makes that face?
Yes.
Oh boy.
But like not, but like, yeah.
Haven't
I
seen
think
it
it
in a
would be.
while, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I make Orkish's mom's face. I'm sorry I had to say it.
Yeah,
I
no,
hope you
you're
could
good.
see me fighting through the pain
Fighting for
as
your
the
life.
words were leaving my mouth. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I look at you pissed.
Please continue.
It's like the longest way for me to be like, I look angry, guys.
Mad.
Welcome to RP. Welcome to RP. You gaze upon my visage and witness. Yeah, I'm pissed at you.
I am sitting on top of the little chest, the stone sort of chest thing that had the plates in it crisscross, and I look like I'm contemplating things, but I speak and say, harnessing the power of creatures we do not fully understand is a dangerous path.
When
What
he
a
says
little
that,
bitch. Judging you. Pay them no mind, my dear. I was simply protecting your form.
I ask Ishna, what happened when I was unconscious?
That one exposed your secret.
Which one?
That one.
And your eyes moved, Constantine.
And I may have retaliated a little.
Is
Forced
that why they're
them
so
to
angry?
Yes. Force them to spill some secrets of their own. I think you would have liked it.
And maybe you can fill me in.
Absolutely. So I think in this moment, the memory that you didn't have access to because you were living in the Life of Moog episode will kind of soak into you, and it's slow at first. So kind of like water as it hits paper towel, and it slowly kind of like soaks in that way. That's how this feels when he shares a memory with you like this. It's not like you are living it from your point of view. It's very, very clearly still coming from him. But you'll start to realize and feel some of what he was feeling in that moment as well. So you feel it begins with his desire to protect you and Moog, even though he didn't really want to protect Moog. He did it anyway. So he had like this bubble around you that was like, it looked like blood and smoke, and he was using his energy, which you know he didn't have much of. He's been, from what he did in the shop. So he used a lot to try to protect you and Moog, and then he used some more that he shouldn't have used when Constantine accused him or accused you of keeping a secret that was detrimental to the party. He laughed and then cast a spell on them that forced them to spill all of their secrets that might be detriments to the party as well. So for like 3 full minutes, they were just blurting out things that they've been hiding from each other. And he was laughing. And then Gunnar said one of the secrets that Gunnar spilled was that he hates what he has become, and he hates all of you, and he doesn't want to be this monster, and he asks Stalker to release him, and Stalker did. And then the spell ended, and they've been bickering since.
After I get this knowledge, I think my chin kind of tips up and I get this kind of like cool, defensive expression on my face. And I look at Stalker and say, well, this thing has saved your lives more than once, I might add. You seem eager to condemn me, but you're standing here because of this power that I borrowed.
And here I
don't
thought
fully
it all came from
understand it.
you.
I have some power, but I think you've all known this whole time. It seemed like a lot for one person.
I am not condemning you, but you may have done that to yourself. Death is not the worst thing that could happen, and the cost surely will be greater than the gain.
You don't think I know about the cost? I carry this burden alone. The only one it will destroy is me.
I doubt that. But what happens next remains to be seen.
I look at Constantine. A little perturbed. Are you happy now?
I would have kept the secret longer.
Sounds like you chose to share it.
Gunnar made a pretty convincing argument as to why I should. I don't know if it was an argument so much as a demand. I told him it wasn't my secret to share, and that he should ask you when you awoke. However, he liked to take things into his own hands, as we can see.
And mouth, apparently, too. He ate Hansel. And I'm going to assume the tongue, that we didn't get to do anything with as well.
But you'll back me up, won't you, Esteban? I tried not to tell them.
You did. It was a strange situation, this bubble of blood and shadow protecting both of you, but Gunnar was quite forceful, but you stood up for yourself for a few moments.
One must try.
But you must remember too, your friend was screwing around with us a bit, and we are trapped in here. We thought we had solved this puzzle, but here we are, it seems not to be over. So we're going, it's like a bigger coffin that we have to share with everyone. It's no good to share a coffin with others.
Not even a little? Once or twice?
Not for too long.
My attention's brought back to the room when he says that. And I think I would probably notice that there's like water damage.
Yeah, it's very,
it looks different.
Very hard to miss. Yeah, yep. the statues are in the same place that they were when you were, before the room, crumbled and changed. But the nameplates have been removed by Constantine. And they look, they have some water damage as well. Everything looks as if it's been underwater for a long time.
Did we not put all the plates in the right order?
One would think.
I remember there was a message on the ceiling. I thought we did it all.
Yes, well, as you can see, that message is no longer there. It appears that we are in the same but different room.
I think something else happened before, right after we solved it as well.
Yeah.
Something else was reverberated across the room before you two fell.
I look over at him and try to find him in the room. Do I see him?
Esteban or who?
Moog. Do I see Moog in the room?
Yeah, absolutely. He's on the floor. Do you want to roll me, Cora, a body difficulty 40? Is that fair, Moog? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 83.
Motherfucker is awake. He's just been laying there with his eyes closed, listening. And you know that. It's up to you whether or not you want to reveal it.
I do?
Yeah, you do know that when
Okay.
you look over at him. Yeah. As soon as he turned his fucking camera into color, I was like, is this what you're doing, bitch? So good.
Okay. I like to imagine that when they say that something else happened, I remember like, oh, that's right. Moog's desperation, the shaking in the room, and then everything like, goes to black and whatever. And I'm concerned and I look over at Moog, like ready to go see if he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I would, in that silence, maybe see like his lip quirk or something. Greg, do you think he would do that?
If you, the moment you look at me, I know that you know, and like a child who's pretending to sleep but can't hold that smirk in. Yes.
Okay. So I exhale. I don't rush over to him. Instead, I look back up at the ceiling where the message used to be, and you said that nothing is lit up. Do we see any
Nothing's lit up. You see depressions in the ceiling where the 3 lines used to be, but they don't look like letters per se. They look like runes that you don't recognize. Well, similar to potentially the runes on the one plate, the stranger.
Okay.
And also the runes above the doorway in the crypt. Similar, but not quite.
Okay. I don't know how the room is different. Maybe we shifted again. But from what I remember about what was written on the ceiling, there was something about blood and song and rotting names and something about say them true. Do we have to say the names again? All of them?
Why don't we give it a try? We could say it all at the same time. We could each have one. Well, perhaps it would be difficult now that Gunnar is fucking dead.
I glance at the remains of Gunnar with a mix of expressions, a mix of emotions on my face, concern, disregard, surprise.
It really is an uncomfortable asymmetry, is it not?
What is?
Well, we are supposed to be a specific number, no? Chosen to be that number.
That is true. Makes me wonder if there's any ripples happening elsewhere with our pairs.
Yes, maybe he has doomed us all.
Well, we won't find out if we can't leave this room. I think between all of us, we can remember the names of the gods. What was there? Odin? Or Othin?
Apollo. I think it was Apollo. Yep.
Kukulkan.
I'm going through the plates.
Was it Apellion? Right?
Apellion, yeah, Apellion.
In this world, this just happened, right? This was like 20 minutes ago, wasn't it? When we solved the puzzle.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
But something about the room is different now.
So, Kukulkan.
I think essentially Constantine can like hold up the nameplates, right? We can just read them off the plates.
Yeah.
You'll have to check your notes. I ain't helping you.
Okay.
Apellion.
Shango.
It was
Shango.
Yeah. Kukulkan. Odin.
Sorry, what did you just say?
Inanna.
Okay.
Zeus?
No.
No, we didn't have Zeus.
No.
Shango. Apellion. Inpu.
You're so close.
Kukulkan.
You're
I
missing
think that's
one.
the last one.
Missing one.
This one.
It's either Hades, Ra, Baal, or Hermes. Or no,
It wasn't Hermes.
the nameless one.
Oh.
Moog.
I run
You say
over
it.
to Stalker's blade.
I say it at Moog.
Yes.
Are you still holding the knife out?
Moog.
Like, do you still have it in hand?
It's sheathed.
What was that name on the blade? You were saying?
Zunathar.
I wouldn't say that one more time.
I did. I said it 3
Maybe.
times.
Okay. You can go ahead and roll for me.
Me?
Yeah. A body difficulty 30.
31. Partial
31.
success.
Oh.
Clutch.
Yeah, you feel your belly kind of like a flip, like when you're on a roller coaster. You feel that for a second when you do that. There is no way for you guys to know you're going to be here all day. You are right, but you have said an improper name in the middle of this. So if this were a video game, it would have been like, nope, you got to start over. You don't have to say them 3 times. You just have to say them correctly and in order, say them all at the same time. But you did throw in a name that was out of order and it has reset the thing. So you are correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay, let's discuss this amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're going to write them down. Go for it.
Kukulkan. Inanna. Othin. Shango.
I don't think it's Shango. Do you remember saying Shango for sure? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, that was out of character, just to be clear.
Pelion?
You could not tell. From...
Pelion.
Mm-hmm.
Inpu. Zunathar.
Yeah.
Nothing visually happens, like on the ceiling, no lights or anything, no sounds, but all of your eyes will move to where there is now a door. I just need to be very clear. There's no sound of moving slate. You just now see the door where you didn't before. Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
You have got to be fucking kidding me.
Was
I
that
opened
there
the door.
whole time?
I think that was there the whole time. I was
Yeah, march
looking
over.
this way.
I just walked straight up to it and opened
Yeah.
It's open. It's just a kind of
it's a
like a doorway.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that leads
I
into
was,
a hallway. Yeah.
I was going to start feeling around the room.
Yeah. I will, to be clear, you guys did look around the room and did not see this, to be clear.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like now it's there and you know. Okay. All right.
I whispered
walked
my
over
life
to it.
story
Blended
to
in,
the walls
definitely.
like a psycho.
Uh-huh.
It'd work. I walk over to it and look back at the others expectantly.
I'm sitting up at this point. I'm on the ground. Look at it. Stalker. I love when you say my name. Something about the way you say it. It just makes me, gives me tingles. And I'm straining a bit.
I go over and offer him a hand to help him up.
Thank you, love. Feeling a little, woozy. Better woozy than dead, though, yeah?
I lean into him and say quietly so the others can't hear. Was it just me, or was there really a tar in a theater? Was that?
Maybe. Smirk forms on my face.
Okay. I thought.
Cute aggression.
Sorry, I just need to know that was
This is
completely
not-
separate and not related to what's happening in the show right
it
now.
wasn't Moog and Cora, right? Wasn't Ishna and Cora, right?
You realized that your mic was off?
Did you think you were muted?
All eyes turned towards you.
An evil laugh.
The all-seeing, omnipresent.
it's the meme like, guess who's off their medication? It's that laugh. It lives rent free in my brain. Oh God. Anyway, you're so cute. Oh my God.
I don't know what that laughing was, but we should get down this hallway before a show.
I'm so sorry.
I think we're being watched.
Oh my God.
I start taking my clothes off. Shall we go?
Oh.
You're still
being
shirtless, too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Just
naked.
a shirtless tussle with Gunnar before he died. That was nice.
This is gonna be
Yeah.
this is gonna be a big no-no. Oh God. I know already. He's just gonna lay on one of the keyboards or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my love. Okay. So you all leave
Lean
this
back.
room and head into the
Oh.
next. Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Before I go,
Yes.
I do want to grab a handful or two of gunpowder.
Wow. Okay, and where do you put it?
My pockets. I'm wearing
Okay.
a long jacket
Yep.
with pockets.
Yep, that's right. Okay. You bring 2 fistfuls of gunpowder.
Yes.
Okay. Put it somewhere in your notes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. You all enter. You go down a long hallway. It is very narrow. Probably, which one of you is the biggest individual?
Oh, would it be me now?
You're tall?
I'm tall,
Are you,
yeah.
Are your
Stalker,
shoulder?
but
I'm gonna say it's like, really only one of you can fit through here. If you have extra broad shoulders, you might need to kind of like turn a little bit. It's a very narrow passageway that you go through. It winds around a bit. If anyone, who's the last one? Moog, right? So if you choose to look over your shoulder, the door is gone once you're in this hallway. Once you walk through here, there's no more door.
Yes.
And it winds around. It's not similar to the other hallway where it's just this long, incredibly long hallway that is straight. You're moving around, kind of winding around in here. And then you enter into another circular chamber, again domed, but these walls are not slate. They look like they're made of parchment, like old parchment. They're peeling. They are water stained and do have damage. And they are covered in half-faded etchings. The ceiling is making a strange ticking sound, like there are invisible gears in here. And at the far end of this dome is a massive grandfather clock. It's 10 feet tall, and his face is made entirely of dark obsidian.
You ever just get a feeling like you just can't get away from a theme?
what time is it on the clock?
That is a great question. Go ahead and roll for me.
Oh. Any difficulty?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll one, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
43.
There's no way that I don't think this immediately strikes a chord in you when you look at this coffin, or when you look at this grandfather clock, which is also shaped like a coffin. Is that exact, Trent?
No, that's exact. There you go.
Okay, then it is set to just before 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Is the tie? Are the hands moving?
Nope. Anyone else looking at the clock?
I'm fixated on the clock
Yeah.
because I came from a room the last
Yep.
2 puzzles ago.
Oh, yes, that's
was
right.
a clock one.
Oh, it's so good that you're here. I totally forgot. Okay. Everybody else who's looking at the clock. Ooh, wait. Who said, is it ticking? Is it moving? Cora did, right?
Me.
Yes. For you, it's moving.
Oh.
For you, it is moving. Just like a normal clock.
What happens when I see the clock?
Roll for me.
Magic?
Just do a D100. I realize I'm having you guys roll randomly, and it's could potentially be upping your stat by mistake.
We're locked at 50, right? When we get there.
Well, you should be, but I don't think
Yeah,
the sheet does that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
48.
I have to DM you a question.
One moment.
Mm-hmm. It will be stopped at that exact number, if possible. I can explain further. I think the clock is moving for you as well.
Oh, all right.
Or it's stuck at 5. Roll for me.
Absolutely. Just a D100?
Yep.
90.
Stuck at 5. 5 o'clock. 8:50. Constantine.
Wait. Constantine sees the clock as 8:50. I see it as just before 2.
Nope, you see it as moving.
I see it just before
He
2.
sees it just before 2.
It's essentially 2 o'clock for me.
Yeah. I'd say for Cora's is real time.
Well, this clock appears to be broken.
10:17, Cora.
Okay. Broken, what do you mean? No, it's working fine from what I can see.
No, it's stuck at 5.
He's stuck at 2.
Maybe you said 10:17 for me?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's
And
10.
counting.
It's 10:17. Stalker, what do you see?
There's no other entrances, doors, windows, holes.
Same situation as last time. The doorway is now gone.
I would probably touch the parchment,
Mm-hmm.
and if nothing happened, I would feel around the room for an exit.
Okay, you can roll just a D100, please.
16.
You go around the room slowly, deliberately. You're being very careful, but there are no depressions. There's nothing that seems like there should be a doorway. No exit.
Then I approach the clock. Does it look like it can open?
You mean like with a door, like a normal grandfather clock? Yeah, it looks like a normal grandfather clock. It's
But
just
it
the
is in
plate
the
is
shape
made out
a
of.
casket.
Well, I mean, a grandfather clock looks like a skinny casket. I was just
Oh, okay.
making a joke because I misspoke because I typed coffin to Murgles and said it out loud.
Gotcha. Okay. Right, yeah, I'll look at it. You want me to roll?
No, I mean, you see a ornate grandfather clock. The face is made out of dark obsidian.
Right. I touch it cautiously. I see nothing unusual. I will open it and look inside.
Everything looks normal when you open it. The gears and I imagine. Wait. You're opening the inside, so you've got the pendulum, but you're not
Right.
opening the inside of the face of the clock. Just the door that normally opens.
Right.
Yep.
Door. Yeah.
Swinging pendulums. Except they're not swinging for you. They're frozen.
I would investigate to see if there's some sort of hidden switch or something carved into it.
I'm not gonna make you roll again. Nope, you don't. You're
Okay.
feeling up the clock. There's nothing,
Yeah.
no mechanical switch or anything like that.
Doing sneaky boy things.
Yep.
All right. Just say I see nothing unusual.
What does the time say for you?
I look at the clock.
What would he see, PB?
2 o'clock. I had to do math. Sorry.
Oh.
Do you ask me what time I see, or do you ask me if it's working?
I ask what time you see.
Oh, yes, sorry. It looks as though it is 2 o'clock.
You see?
Is that different?
Is it moving for you, Stalker?
I look to see if it's moving. No.
That is what I see, right before 2 o'clock.
I see it at 2 o'clock exactly.
Huh.
Well, if anyone's gonna ask me, I see it at 8:50.
It was 10:17 when I first looked at it.
Probably
it's moving.
10:18. Yeah, for you, it's moving normally.
Would anyone object if I try something?
Well, first,
walk
what does
towards-
the time say for you?
5. However, I'm going to move it.
This thing is
Okay.
10 feet tall, right?
Yep.
The clock?
That's
I can
right.
climb
You're
up it.
You're up there. Yeah, you're up there.
Yeah. I'm probably... Yeah, I'm up there, but it's not that
I
high,
mean,
right?
you guys are
'Cause
vampires. You
it's
could
10.
literally get up on your tiptoes, but the force could let you leap a little. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Oh, no, I'm
you're
spider climbing up
Oh,
that. Are you
okay,
kidding me? Why
Okay,
would I
just-
not
just
do that?
Making sure.
Spider mook. Spider mook.
Ooh.
And then I move the time to 2:15, which was the time I last saw the clock in the B team puzzle room.
You motherfuckers got so lucky. There is a click. There is a click. And then the obsidian face of this clock will begin to form words. It looks like the hands of the clock melt away for a moment, and all you see is this plate. And the plate says, "There are 12 stages to the death of gods. Do you know the moment you truly died?" And then the hands come back. And the words fade away. And that both the hands are at 12.
I'm not touching any more clocks. That's it. My clock touching days are
How did you
over.
do this? That was very impressive.
I just set the time to what? Well, you see, it's very complicated because we were in a room, bleeding walls, the whole deal, and there was a clock up on the ceiling, and it would tick if no one looked at you and you walked backwards, and then you ended up somewhere else. I don't fully, there's a cat involved, I think.
A cat?
There's a Ricky? I was half paying attention.
Ricky Schroeder's cat! I still want to do merch of the missing cat, Ricky Schroeder's cat. Missing.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted
I
dead
don't
or alive.
understand, but the moment you died,
I mean, we're all still here, yeah? The first death, perhaps?
it doesn't mean that, or it doesn't mean when did you stop being who you were and become who you are?
When did someone stop believing in you? It's the thing about gods, yeah? They wither away when you stop believing in them.
Like in the other room. Names rot like bodies.
I hate this. I hate philosophy.
Really?
Ridiculous.
That is surprising to me.
Why is that?
It just seems like something you would naturally, perhaps not formally, but talk about.
Well, I like
You're in
speaking
a
about my
conversation,
philosophy,
yes.
but not philosophy in general.
I see.
Do you really need to know the reason why everything is the way it is? Just enjoy it? No? We have wine, drink wine. We have bodies, use them. When did I die? There are so many deaths. It's impossible to choose which one was the best. Besides, I don't even know what time it was when I was turned. I was completely fucking drunk. So,
I think I do. If I ever lived at all. I look at the clock. Striking midnight. New Year's Eve. Fuck. I need to sit down. And I find any portion near the parchment wall. Huddle up. Knees touching my chest.
Go ahead and just roll a flat D100 for me, real quick.
A 75.
Yep. Okay, you walk up to the parchment wall, and there's like that scratching sound as your coat rubs up against the parchment, and as you slide down and you're looking off.
I say there, do you think this is, we have to set the time on the clock, or this is another one where we say it out loud?
well, we could try saying it out loud and see if something happens. Stalker, what about you? When did you die?
It was 1824.
I walk up to the clock. And then I sort of pull my hand away. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be the one to do this. After you?
Well,
Who do you say that to?
Stalker. Sorry. I'm like looking at Stalker.
what do you want me to do?
Set it to 1824.
To 624?
Right.
Very well. I do this.
Roll your mind stat, whatever your magic stat is. Please roll like below a 20.
What is there a difficulty?
30, yeah.
No problem. 14.
Oh my god, that's fucking witch manifestation
I
again.
want you to know I said no problem before I rolled.
To 14, by the way, for those listening. Okay. I was hoping you would roll under a 20 because I wanted to give you this kind of extra descriptor. Because I feel like you've been role-playing Stalker which, by the way, Cora, I was going to have you guys, can you just, like, in the group chat, do a summary of the secrets that you spilled in front of each other? Because Ishna gave them all to Cora, so she would know them now. But they weren't allowed to watch last week's episode. So I know one of those is your name. So Stalker, you've been playing, your character is very tactile and using her hands a lot. So I think there's no way in my brain that you would not be sensitive to moving the clock and feeling when there's loose, when it's easily moved, and when there's resistance, as if maybe it was going to click in somewhere. So as you're spinning the hands around, I think you do feel some resistance around 2:15, and then you just like keep moving it. But when you place it to your time, nothing happens.
Well, so I go back to 2:15 then.
It will make a snap. You hear the gears above you sound like they just become louder. These hands melt away, And then you see the same text kind of appear magically. And it's similar to what it did in the other room, where it kind of like lights up in a color and then shows itself to you, which is there are 12 stages to the death of gods. Do you know the moment of your true death?
It says of your true death.
That's right.
Is that what it said last time?
No.
I hope you're taking notes.
So when he put it to 624, you said nothing happened once the hands were there.
Right.
But now the text has changed.
That's right.
That sounds like a follow-up question to me, Stalker.
Do you know the moment
Of your true death.
your true death?
And Moog, do you remember? Did you write it down, or would you? Because I will repeat it the one time, but I'm not too nice of a
Do
GM.
you what you just said? Do you know the moment of your true death? That is
No,
what
I
you're
meant
asking?
yours. Do you remember what yours said? Because it was slightly different to that.
Yes, we have it written down. I
Yep.
believe.
Okay. Awesome. Then I'm not helping you with shit.
To be fair, I did not write it down. Ankle wrote it down.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Yep.
Yes, it was. Do you know the moment you truly died? Was mine.
I don't think I could put my time in here.
Can you roll for me, Constantine, your magic stat?
Yes.
Difficulty 30. God
91.
damn it!
I'm so upset.
I am also so upset.
I am so upset.
Okay.
I would love to put my year on the clock, but it's not, it doesn't fit a time format. I don't know how to translate the time format.
Well, I'm gonna say you notice that Stalker's changes when he puts it to 2:15, which is the same as what Moog did. It didn't react when he put it on his year.
Oh, then I go and put it on 2:15.
Yeah. Okay. Then the same thing happens where the hands disappear. They kind of like melt away, and then the obsidian face, will kind of like light up a script similar as it did in the other room. And it says there are 12 stages to the death of gods. Roll me a 1d3.
Two.
Do you know the moment of your true death?
I repeat.
All right, I'm gonna go up and do it. Same thing, 2:15.
Yep. Okay. Just roll me a 1d3.
Three.
Yours simply says, "Tell me a story."
Oh, that is different.
Could have used that in the last room when I did that of my own accord for no reason.
I do the same thing. Move the hands to 15.
Just roll a 1d3. Yours is the same as Moog, so of course it is. Of course it is.
Do you know the moment of your true death?
Yes.
I'm
No, sorry.
just
Yours was
died
truly died.
truly.
Yep, truly died.
Right?
Do you know the
Truly died,
moment you
yes.
truly died? That was yours.
And just for my notes, Esteban's, was it there? Does it say the first bit as
yes,
well, and
there
then tell
are
me a story?
12,
Okay.
Yeah, there are 12 stages to the death of
I thought
gods.
so. I just
Tell
wanted
me a
to be
story.
sure.
Yep.
Because that would be an egregious error if I did not ask.
I should have said. My bad.
No, it's all right.
Okay, since this is PBU, can I roll my magic stat to access the soul connection I have with the player named Murgles?
That's what I was having you roll for when you rolled the 91. So, like,
Because I
you know
wanna
now.
put a time
You know
in.
now, don't you? Do you know what
Well,
to do?
I want to put a time in.
Yeah.
I probably not because I'm a dumbass.
I see.
But
So, no, you're not a dumbass.
but I want to put a time in because I know, like, the lore. But
Yes,
I don't
yes,
think
yes, yes.
Constantine would think to do stuff. Like, I know the PBU really
Okay.
well.
Go ahead and roll a D100. 1, 11, 22, or 33.
91 again,
Ain't
dude.
happening. Wow, that's the same exact roll as last time. Just roll one more time. I just want to see if you get a 91 3 times in a row.
It's your magic number now.
Oh, no.
What?
That was
436.
Sorry.
It's not
Ow,
I'm not
that
wearing
hurt
my
me.
glasses.
Wow.
I'm not wearing my glasses, so I missed.
One
My
D1100
vision is
right
blurry. 80.
Oh, that's close, but okay. I was
Wow.
just curious if you'd get 91 3 times in a row. Then yeah, it probably would have become your number. No, nothing happens. You try to make this ethereal connection to Murgles the player.
Can I tell you what I wanted to do?
Yes, absolutely.
I wanted to set it to 333.
Little Easter egg. None of you may
Yeah.
do that now.
All right, well, I suppose I'm supposed to know when I am to die. Wonderful. How about this? Does anyone have a watch? Wait, hold up. I don't think I know. Yeah, I do know what a watch is. Watches existed. Timepieces. Does anyone have a timepiece?
Yep.
In the 30s? Yeah.
Yeah. People had watches in the 30s. I think about,
knows
I
these
forget. I always think of him as like, from the time when he was first turned, you know? Like, I struggle to remember that he made it all the way to there. Does anyone have a watch? A timepiece? Quick, 15 minutes from now, Stalker, kill me. How about that?
Okay. Are you sure?
No, don't kill me. I was joking.
Let's joke. That is crazy, by the way, that you joke about that with the most literal person ever who just killed someone in front of
Thank
you
God he
because they asked him to.
Yeah, I
God
like
he
to
asked,
live
"Are you
dangerously.
sure?"
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so, man.
By the seat of my little trousers. Okay. True death, huh?
I don't know how I can tell a story on the face of the clock, so we might have to talk.
Oh, what if it's how you wish to die? How you imagine your last day?
The way it says moment makes me think it's more about the experience than the specific time. So perhaps?
But I never want to die, so I cannot imagine it positively. The moment.
I think the easiest one to test with is the story. Esteban, do you think you can tell a story in 3 sentences? A beginning, a middle, and an end?
Oh, give me a moment. Only 3 sentences. Why 3 sentences?
To make it easy.
Oh, that is easy to tell a story that quickly. Are we short for time? Okay, let me give me a moment to think about this.
I mean,
Give me a moment to think about this. I go on and on, so.
it could be something as simple as a nursery rhyme.
I assume it wants something personal. I can try something that isn't.
If you start with an impersonal story and nothing happens, perhaps it's worth trying a personal story after that.
Okay.
While he thinks...
Okay.
Mhm.
I have one right
Okay.
now, but please go ahead.
Just while he's thinking, I want to look at the parchment walls more closely.
Mm-hmm.
If I touch it, does it give at all? Like it's suspended parchment, or is it against something hard?
That's a great question. It is like suspended parchment. It gives a little. It's like the walls are made out of parchment. And as you're looking at it, you can see half-faded etchings. I was 12. And then other stuff around the room. Like just little pieces of story. Also not all in English.
Okay, here is his story. One of my favorites. In 3 sentences. General and his army besieged the poor town, killing thoughtlessly. A grieving widow decides to get revenge and seduces the general. His head rolls down Main Street as the army recedes into the night. That is... Well, I don't want to keep talking, because it was 3 sentences.
Oh, that's much
But that
better
was
than
the story of the painting I
imagining.
saw as I had the stake put in my heart.
As you speak with intention of telling this story, your words will whoosh, appear and it lights up on the wall, on the parchment, in 3 lines, but then they fade away, burn into the parchment, and become nothing.
So it is spoken. How about something more personal?
Esteban, roll me your magic stat. Difficulty 30. Hey, thank you.
51. Just missed. Partial. Okay, I'm going to tell another story then. I'll try personal one.
Mm-hmm.
After a long day of fishing, let's start again. After an afternoon of fishing, a young boy returns to his home. He opens the door to a place normally filled with life, laughter, and love. Today, it is filled with stillness, silence, and questions he will never find the answers to.
I'm thinking. I'm so sorry. Let me think.
Think?
After an afternoon of fishing, a young boy returns to his home to find it empty. And there's nothing.
Essentially.
What's the last line again?
It's normally filled with life, laughter, and love. Now it is only filled with stillness, silence,
Okay.
and questions he will never find an answer to.
Okay. So as you say this, the words again kind of show up on the wall and start to disappear. But I think some of those words that you spoke stay for a little bit longer than the rest of them as they're fading. It's very quick, almost imperceptible. But you are drawn back to there are 12 stages in the death of gods.
Do I know which words kind of hung around?
Just tell me again what the last line was.
Stillness, silence, and questions that will not be answered.
Stillness, silence. You said something else too.
And questions you will never get an answer to, I think was it, but...
Yeah, but you said something else in one of the first two lines, I think, that kind of led to this as well.
An afternoon, a boy returns home from fishing.
Mm-hmm.
He opens the door to a house normally filled with life and laughter and
Life.
love.
Life.
So
is the
life,
one.
stillness, silence.
Yeah. It's just very quick.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
12 stages. Well, that begs the question, I suppose. If it is not time, what are these 12 stages? Oh, I need to tell a story about the 12 stages.
That's right.
The duration of a life, as if it's the face of a clock, from birth to death.
True death. You may pick any of the gods in the previous room if you'd like, but yes, that is the answer to this puzzle. You must tell the 12 stages of a god's true death. Any of the statues that you spoke, or you may
I
tell
am
one of your
going
own.
to...
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know the beginning. I was going to say, I know a hell of a lot about Gunner's life at this point.
We can try it.
He's a very handsome young man. That's all I can assume. I have to make some creative decisions on the early part of his life. A great warrior falls in love with what he believes is a monster. He takes the bodies of his dead men to feed her. She turns him into a monster. I forget if he told us. I know he told us at some point what he did to get punished, but I don't remember if it was in the game or if it was afterwards. All right. Well,
I'm sorry, I don't know, so I don't want to
Yeah.
speak and say yes or no.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna skip it then. I don't want to
Yeah.
reveal it if I don't know. The reunion did not last long. As he committed some crime that led to him being put in a coffin. For 800 years, he laid there, awake, alone, wondering what had happened to her, only seeing the faces of his captors as they had come, giving him knowledge in the form of a tattoo on his arm every 100 years, keeping him informed for what purpose he did not know. But he sat, he waited, he suffered, until one day the door opened and it was not one of these people. He met others that he would consider monsters, put in a similar situation to himself. Joined together to try to get back to where he came from. Oh, it was long gone. He could never escape the feeling he had that he was a monster, and nothing could change that. In a vain attempt to die a heroic death, believing he was saving someone, he was gravely injured, and in the end, he begged for his true death from one of his companions who granted it.
So everything that you have spoken lights up on the wall, but then fades and kind of disappears into the etching. I will say it doesn't stay half etched like some of these others. It just disappears into the wall.
Okay, so just it's just totally gone.
It's just totally gone.
So none
it's
of
like,
these. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a clue to let you know you are supposed to speak it out loud, but what you're speaking is not correct.
All right. Well, I wish you would tell me like 2 lines in.
No, I was enjoying that. Never.
All right. Why don't you guys try something? I need to think of a better story. Apparently, they don't like that one very much.
I will walk up to the clock and I will say, I do not know the moment of my true death. But I suspect it will be when everything else dies.
Am I still here? I am. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you say that to the wall?
To the
clock?
To the clock.
Okay. Nothing happens. I'm so sorry.
I stomp petulantly. But I am supposed to live forever. That is the entire point. But surely everything will die eventually, and I will die along with it, but I do not have true death until then happens.
Is that true death?
And even if...
This is a philosophical puzzle. Is that really when you die? Think of the last room. Think of all the clues that are before you. Think of the eroding... Think of everything that was said in that last room. They're connected, these puzzles.
If...
I suppose I will meet my true death when my power is gone and no one believes in me anymore.
Close. Very close.
Bless her, guys. She's giving me the hints because she knows I need them.
More like I recognize that I have given you a philosophical puzzle immediately after quite a literal one. So I'm trying to guide you into knowing how to solve the puzzle and then allowing you to solve it. You know what I mean?
Those
I
gods
drop
are
my
dead
head.
because nobody remembers them anymore.
Yeah. I drop my head. Damn it, you guys! I was gonna do it all dramatic and shit. I was gonna do it so dramatically.
Still,
it's like
do
my
it.
character's number one thing.
Do it! I know! That's why I put the puzzle in here! And do you know that? Do you know physically like did it in the last room, and I had to be like, no. Literally fucking in my DMs being like, bro, she just fucking did like similar to what's happening in the next room. In the room in front. Unbelievable. Okay, yes, sorry. Please, go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Time rewinds. I stop my foot petulantly, and then I look down at the floor and I sigh. My true death will be when no one loves me and I'm forgotten.
The clock begins to spin very, very, very quickly. You are timed. From this moment forward. And some of you who were in the B team episode remember. It's the same puzzle. There are 12 stages to the death of a god. Tell me a story.
Because a few words lit up on the wall, specific words, I think we might be able to tell the story in just a few words, 12 words, if we can find the right ones. Starting with birth.
Well, no, there is something that happens before birth, right?
Inception.
If you believe in the existence of a soul is cleaved to a living thing that comes from the ether, exists beyond time and space.
Fuck.
What?
I think that's me.
What do you mean?
I'm a proxy. I'm your proxy. I've not told you this. Sometimes when I look at my reflection, I'm not me. I'm made of clay. A golem. A soul cleaved to the body. Maybe part of yours. Cleaved to this body.
How many Korras are there in the ether?
I have no fucking idea. But I'm pretty sure it's not an accident that I'm here with you all and I'm a proxy. Therefore, you would be the gods from which the souls were cleaved from.
So, the story is you are created. You are born. You live. You love. You make more. What next? You feel your body die around you. Flesh. It rots in your bed, sloughs off your bone. Your heart ceases to beat, and your mind sees worlds, and then nothingness. You are gone. Nothing left. Or are you returned?
This is the 12 stages of death, right? So death starts with life.
It cycles. It fucking I'm looking at the parchment. Oh, I'm not looking at it. I'm lost in thought, running my hands over it. All these words of stories of death.
But what of gods? That is what they're asking us about. Gods are not mere mortals.
There is
No.
belief. There is worship. There is competition. There is
Cruelty.
There's
Negligence.
The last one is memory, right? Because when the memory is gone, that is it.
Memory. Narrator,
Yes.
I would like to try something and hope the dice rule in my favor.
Okay, what would you like to try?
If I am indeed carved from a bit of Korra, I would like to try to access, I'm going to word this very specifically.
Yes.
I want to try to access a memory from whom I share the soul with.
Okay. Roll your magic stat, please. Difficulty 30.
44. So I'm going to
Nope.
think of something clever.
Stop speaking. Who do you think you share a soul with?
I thought it was... Up until that moment, I thought it was Korra, but now I'm not so sure.
Because of what I said?
Well, I was also in my own head
Yeah.
spinning a bit. In my mind right now, the proxies are reincarnations of the gods in which they were forged. So if you think of it this way, and this is just speculation at this point, I'm probably neither right nor wrong. If I am the proxy of Korra, that would mean I am reincarnated from Korra, and Korra would be reincarnated from someone else. However, there's a time gap. No, there's not with Korra, though. Perhaps there is, I don't know. But those who are in the coffins might...
What would that mean? Stop. What would that mean?
It means that there's a middle between me and Korra, potentially. There's someone else. So I know I am Korra's proxy because I believe we felt it a bit, but also Fen smelled. We smell similar. We have the same scent. However, if there was an intermediary or someone who came before or after me, they would also share that same scent as it would be the same thing.
Do you remember?
So I would.
Do you remember what Fen's? Yeah, Trench just got it. Do you remember what Fen smelled on you, or was it just that they smelled of this person?
They smelled on Moog.
Yes. Did I give you a specific scent
No.
on Moog? Would
I
you
don't
like
remember
to
you doing
smell? Mm-hmm.
There was a smell that was around Korra and Moog
Mm-hmm.
that was different
Mm-hmm.
somehow.
Yes, but was that Ishna or not? We don't know.
No, it was the smell of travel, I think.
Sulfur.
Sulfur is Ishna. I will give you that.
Okay. There was mildew as well.
Yes. I'm not gonna help you.
Do the
more.
gods smell?
I would like you to roll for me one more time, Moog.
One more time, yes. Just a D100 or a magic stat?
Magic.
Okay. And the difficulty?
30. This is only because you got the 44 doubles, by the way.
24.
I believe you smell gardenia.
On me and her?
Just in that moment, as your
In that moment.
mind is racing and you're thinking about the third person and what blah, blah, blah. And that's the smell that you smell.
Gardenia. Now I feel foolish because I said it about 14 million
did.
times in episodes past.
And I want us all to remember this moment whenever Wax like, you don't have a poker face.
I want to
I
smell.
do when it matters. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I smell gardenia, and I know that is the scent that I smelled of my, when I thought I was just a kindred. I know that was my sire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to smell myself and Cora, and I'm just sniffing, just like, is it not hiding it? I just go up in a big old whiff.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to let this sniff persist for the scene with this 24. So you smell yourself and you smell Cora, and I'm assuming that you're looking for your identifying smell, right?
I'm
like
looking for
an identity type thing.
Yes, I'm thinking it's gardenia, but yes.
Okay. So it's actually going to be a mix. So what does Moog smell like and what does Cora smell like? And keep in mind, this is your own scent, your own identity.
I mean,
To-
Moog would
To define
smell of
fire, right? Like embers.
yes, smoke and fire
Yeah.
and that hint of gardenia at the end.
Yep. So
Sounds
you
like-
you definitely smell a little bit of like camp smoke or fire, and then you also smell a bit of blazed clay, and then you smell the gardenia. And what does Cora smell like if she were to be reduced to a scent?
Like something like violets in the shade, or chilled plums, something like sweet and cold.
Chilled plums is so evocative. Wow. So you get this chilled plum with her, a little bit of that sulfur, which we know is Ishna, and a little bit of that gardenia. And you are on a different puzzle now, not the room puzzle. And lest I remind you, you are being timed in this room.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
I'm going to.
Yep.
As it ever was. Oh, clock puzzle? It's timed?
Yeah,
Let's do something else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, something is
The
happening.
12
Does
stages of the
anyone
death
else?
of a god
Mhm.
is
Yes.
what we need.
Yep.
I could probably come up with 7 if I'm stretching it. I don't know if they're right.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, it would be no longer being worshipped. Your temples being taken down, losing your home, losing your temple, losing your people, your priests were the last to go. Priestesses. Just imagining now what it would take to
Heresy.
kill a god.
Your texts point to the wall.
Right.
Removed.
There were 3 words that are probably involved in this: life, stillness, and silence.
I will say, I almost interrupted you but you said something, Esteban. It would have also lit up and faded away, but I don't know if you were
Before.
looking just now in the whole spiel
Okay.
that you were just doing. But I wasn't sure if you were looking at, if anyone was like looking at the wall, but I will give this to you. It was rot. And again, you're drawn back to the previous room. Names rot like bodies.
I was going to say decay before what that is.
I say out loud. Oh, sorry, never mind. That was for Esteban and not for me. I do not say anything. I did not have this train of thought.
We're all looking. We said the words kind of hung, and we're looking for.
Yeah, if you were
and
looking.
the Cora
deep
said
in
we
the-
can tell this in 12 words.
Yep. She's right, by the way.
So,
Okay, so I say that phrase. I say words rot like bodies. Is that what that was?
Names.
Names rot like bodies. I say the full phrase,
Rot will light up and then.
but the rest of it doesn't. Okay.
Yes.
I paying attention to the wall, I would say fed with blood and song.
Nope. I'm sorry. Try one of the other lines from that.
Yeah, where is it?
What about
Worship?
prayer? Yeah.
Worship will.
Okay.
Worship.
Yep. You need to tell the story of like the death of a true death of a god. But yes, you were correct. It does include their life and the worship of them.
So it's their life, it is worship, it
Yeah.
is sacrifice, it is.
Greed.
Yeah, you don't need to focus so hard on the word as much as the philosophy behind it. If you guys want to have a discussion, I will stop you when you hit the nail on the head. But my question to you is, when does a god truly die?
Okay.
It's a,
So talking as the players then.
Yep, go for
Yeah.
it.
Having a powwow here.
Yeah.
12 stages to the death of gods. So we're not talking about the life cycle, we're talking about the death itself.
Mhm.
So we have confirmed life, stillness, silence, rot, worship. That's 5.
I mean, I think it all just like the moment that a god actually dies is when they are completely forgotten. It's like there's
Maybe work backwards from there.
yeah.
Well, I'm
So-
thinking further down, like names rot like bodies. Fast forward a millennia, and people may not remember the original names of the gods.
Right? That's
Yeah,
part of
their
it.
names
Yep.
are gone.
Last.
Yeah.
So
Their
Memory
names
or-
last uttered.
forget.
You're onto
also-
something there, Acorn, because the idea, right, is that like it's not just that their names are forgotten, it's that they've been, kind of twisted into this interpretation, rewritten, changed for this
Yeah.
sake of this legend or
Transfer
Their
whatever.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one knows their actual story anymore.
Yeah.
The true
Also-
story.
Also, a lot of the time, gods would be amalgamated with other gods. Like you would have multiples being put into one. Their deeds
So where does
being
it start?
When
Where
they're
does the
used-
legend begin? Where does the god part of the god begin? Is it when we could argue that it's when they're born, but is that
no, it's through the deeds.
when people
It's
talk
through their
about it, when
deeds.
people tell
Yeah.
their story.
yeah, through their deeds, or they do
Legend.
something to create a legend and become worshipped, right?
When
Yeah.
they're
And when
witnessed.
does
When they're
yes,
observed.
witnessed is
When they're
one of them.
observed.
Yeah, when they're observed, yeah.
You said witness is one of the words?
Yeah, it can be. There are multiple different variations for each one, but that is one of them. Yeah. So I will also tell you that I have like a couple of different options that it could be, but if you guys come up with one that surmises the same thing, that's fine too. It's like the idea of the 12 stages. So you don't have to focus so much on the exact word. Just walk me through the 12 stages of what it means when a god truly dies.
Okay, well, in order for a god to die, a god has to become a god. And that can be through their deeds, through their actions. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're born gods. Their
right.
godship is established by how they are observed and witnessed and worshipped.
Right. So you may not have been born a
They
god.
begin. No.
Ascension.
When
The
do you-
ascend to
That's
God.
Ascension.
right. That is one
Yeah.
of the words, correct?
And then often it would be that the god would either, first of all, either a new god would become more impactful. And so people would start worshiping a new god in lieu of the previous one. Or
But when does that moment happen? When does the switch from legend to mockery begin? Because you're right, there is a moment where they no longer want to believe the original story, but why?
It's
Modernity.
not convenient. Yeah.
Like change when
Time,
society
yeah.
moves away from worship and into other focuses.
Yeah. So then,
because their needs aren't
Science.
being met anymore. Like their desires aren't being fed any longer. Their wishes aren't being granted. They start to build evidence against.
Yes.
They find a new god.
You're on the right track with that. They start to build evidence against
The previous god.
Yeah, previous god. Yep.
That they don't exist or they don't have power.
Right.
That they are powerless.
So they strip them of their power.
Yeah.
That is correct. That's one of the concepts as well. So eventually what you'll do is you distill all of these down into one word each and then say them in order. But yes, you guys are on the right track for sure.
My PBU brain is like going insane because now I'm not even thinking about this. I'm thinking I'm just like, yeah,
now
I know,
you're
but
thinking
now
about the story, aren't you?
now I'm thinking about like how do we kill Garoon? I'm back in Kingmakers.
Yeah.
I'm back in the building.
Is death or memory on there?
Yes. Yes. Because there is an actual death of said god, and then there's the true death. Their death is part of it for sure. Especially if we're doing a story, because you guys have multiple options here. I had stuff written down for if you choose to do like a mythology, like Athena or some shit like that. If you wanted to tell one of those stories, which does involve a birth and a death, and then the legend lives on. So there's that. But I also have options for if you start with the person as a god. So that's fine too. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When the tenets and teachings begin to be bastardized and warped for the desires of whoever is using it.
That is correct.
Corruption.
Yep. They become corrupted.
Well, also, I mean, the god could also not become corrupted, but the people who believe in it become corrupted, right?
Well, I mean, the truth of the god becomes
the legend.
twisted and corrupted. Yep.
Yeah.
To suit the needs of man.
We have 11.
So there is a death, like a fall.
What do you have right now?
Life, stillness, silence, rot, worship, witness, ascension, power stripped, death, memory, which may be the same, and corruption.
Power stripped could be reduction.
Deeds. You're missing deeds. Or that concept.
Yeah.
The heroics.
What made them a god, in the first place.
Sacrifice?
Deeds that had to be
Sacrifice is one of them, yep. Or an option. I shouldn't say like, there are multiple different answers for each one, but you guys need to, put them in order and have the right
We have
ones.
we have to do it in order.
Congregation. How about
Congregation is nice. That's a
gathering
nice one.
Followers.
Disillusion.
That's a
Both
good
in
one.
like the disillusion of the people and also disillusionment in the idea.
The rot is like after they've been stripped and their story has been changed, right? And they're just kind of fading.
So I will say, I think conceptually you guys have talked about this, so I'd like to highlight it. There is a difference between the legend and a myth, and it is in our perception, right? Because you guys said there are people who witness this god's deeds and tell this story. But then when does that story transform into a legend? And then when does that legend become a myth? And then when do we believe that's, like, oh, that's just fiction? You know what I mean? Like there is a transformation.
Because a legend...
That's right.
Yeah, legend has the possibility for truth in it still, whereas myth
does not.
Is not. It's fiction. Pretty much we perceive it as fiction.
Mm-hmm. So I think it becomes it's witness to story to legend to myth.
Deeds, witness, story.
Okay, but there's like something that happens just before the death that I think we're missing. Like that. There's something between like rot and then being completely
also,
forgotten.
Gods typically don't
when everybody
die
leaves
on their own. They're typically
Abandoned.
killed.
Yes, both of you.
abandoned,
And,
killed.
And you said something just now, Acorn.
They're killed.
Yeah.
They usually don't die on their own. They're killed.
Murder.
Yeah.
I love how I said it seriously and you were like, murder. I have to say it jokingly because who would say this authentically? Me. Murder.
This was no normal death of a god. This was murder.
Kratos just coming in.
There are different ideas of that concept too, but you can you can also look back on, your favorite, gods from myth or legend and recount those stories too in your head to kind of help guide you.
Oh, it's been ages though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm currently doing a lot of research on Welsh mythology, and the other world was originally through the, I'm gonna butcher this, Mabigonion, was
My
run
big
by
onion? Sorry.
my
big onion. That was a good Cajun accent.
Thank you.
My big onion. Sorry.
So originally it was, they sort of attributed the role of the other world, the person who guides people to the other world or the underworld, to be this one person named Aaron, I think it comes down to. Aaron is how you pronounce it. And then that eventually at some point changed over time to be Gwynepnudd, which is a psychopomp leader who kind of guides people from battle into, and he's also the owner of the Wild Hunt. And then he became the king of the doorway to the fairies.
So I don't want to trip you up, but this is a concept that I would allow as well. The idea of part of their decay, because that's what this is. This isn't the true death, is the decay. When they are you've got it. When no one is around to remember or speak the name or remember them at all is a true death. But the idea of fighting over ownership of the legend. Like, oh, that's not from there, that's from there, right? Like, and I can track it back here, right? It's part of how they fall apart, is not knowing the origin. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People fighting over using it for different purposes.
That's correct. And you've kind of touched on that
a
little bit too, so you may already have a word for that. But yes, that is a concept that is, I think, very much a part of the death of a god.
Corruption, right? Or transformation.
It's corruption, yeah.
Corruption.
Well, it's corruption, but also it's like a watering down because it changes every time you tell it. It's like a telephone thing, so it changes every time you tell it, and then it often becomes less and less powerful.
But it's told to suit people's purposes too.
I do like distilled.
Yeah, and it's also
distilled. This kind of idea where it's the opposite of that, right? Where it's just becoming muddied because of all the interpretation and stuff like that. I like that.
It's also like that specific example is that way because of Christianity and the rise of Christianity and the belief in Christianity, and so the power was taken away more and more from these mythological figures because, of course, you were not allowed to believe in them as being deities. They're not even really considered deities. They were just guys. Like Gwynepnudd was just like originally at some point was just part of like Arthur's team, you know? So it's this like you're being replacing. Yeah. It's almost like it becomes like
is,
yeah.
Where it's you've got a new god that comes into the picture, or there is something else that replaces that inherent desire for worship or direction.
Yeah.
You know, we've all heard the argument that science is a new religion. It's the same thing, right? Science replaces the gods and, whatever. So. What do you guys have now?
But in space, there's no one to hear you scream.
Entropy will always increase.
Entropy. Add it to the list.
I mean, technically, that would count as rot, I think.
I added what we've been talking about to notes?
Mm-hmm.
It's just honestly, it's the extrapolation from one point. It's like you have the god's inception at one point, and then it extrapolates like entropy. It just continues on and on and on. It gets further space between each point until there's nothing. Heat death.
Something else I don't think we've touched on is betrayal.
Yes.
The thing that happens between legend and myth, I think, and being stripped of power and murder or death. The betrayal of the teachings, why the worshippers turn against their god.
Yep. I think you guys have it if you want to try to break them down and put them in order. And it might help you to just break down the concepts first and then distill it to one word.
Acorn the Angel has already done it.
Oh,
So
perfect.
it starts with life, and then they do something. So then it's deeds, right? And then someone witnesses them.
Yeah.
So deeds, witness.
We could also call it miracle
Yeah,
instead of deeds.
like miracle. Life,
Okay.
miracle, witness.
It should be scripture next, I think. Story, legend, myth, scripture.
Do we think scripture would go before or after worship?
Maybe after.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
They write after they worship. Yeah, you get worship, and then they decide to write stuff about you, right?
Okay.
Might even go after sacrifice and offerings.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You could, I mean, we could, it's not simplifying because it's a bigger word, but you could change story, legend, myth to dissemination. Like dissemination of those teachings. What is it? What is that word?
I just put power.
When everyone
for
goes
that
on,
part.
when everyone goes on mission in the Church of Latter-day Saints, they're going to,
Proselytize?
yeah.
Preach. Is it just preach?
Preach. We could just do,
But story, legend, and myth is different though, because it's people
Yeah.
just talking about. Did you hear what they did?
yeah, that's true.
That's even earlier, maybe even after witness. People talking about, oh my God, this person did this. This incredible thing happened, and then they start to worship them. The story, and then later, at some point, becomes a legend. At some point, becomes a myth later on. Because when it's a myth, if it's a myth, you don't believe it anymore. So
Yeah.
myth is closer to death.
It's almost like a infection.
It gets worse over time.
It spreads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It grows. It takes over or brings more people in.
Okay.
But yeah, myth just means, oh, it never actually happened. It's just a fun story that they used to believe to prove a point.
I think legend is a good spot for right there.
Which is what? Trench?
Which is
When
what?
someone uses a story to prove a point.
It's a
parable.
fable.
Fable.
Oh,
That works
parable,
too.
yeah.
That works too on any one of those works. Because a myth is a story that you don't believe in, but then the fable is when you're using that to, teach a lesson, right? So either one
Yeah.
of those would work. But also I would
But
allow
you
you.
definitely don't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're saying separate them?
I'm just saying the options are there. There are many different ways in which you can succeed at this puzzle. There are certain beats that have to be hit is all.
I think we have all of them,
I
and
think
I
you
think
do
we
too.
have more than is necessary. So I think we just have to strip it down now to the most concise order.
Mhm.
I would almost say that, yeah,
Corruption comes before betrayal and stripped of power, right? Because they're being taught, and then this is great. We all believe in this, and someone goes, "Well, what if I teach it and I to do this with it?"
I think stillness, silence. I think rot should come before, because rot is still loud, which sounds crazy. But I think it should go rot,
It's act.
stillness, silence, and that would be the end right before death of memory. I think the corruption should go.
I think I'm so sorry, but I think you're talking about the corruption, like people twisting the myth and the legend, and Acorn was talking about betrayal as in before they physically die, like way earlier in the god's story where they are betrayed and then they are killed before they ever become a legend or a myth or what have you. So
Yeah,
She's
so
betrayal up there.
yeah.
So
Oh,
then
okay.
legend
I
and
can't
myth
see
should
what
be
you guys are
moved
looking at.
down.
Where are you guys? Oh, you're in notes. Bless you.
Yeah. Legend and myth should come much later. I think legend could be like halfway through, and then myth is like the last thing, and then after that is when the corruption happens, and death has to happen before.
I think corruption
become-
is when people still believe it, though. Because what does it matter if you corrupt a myth? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Like the
Well,
twisting
we also
of it
know.
to suit your purposes has to be when people believe it, right?
Yeah, but we also know that we have like 4 extras here.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra words or statements. So we can get rid of 7 of them. We have to get rid of 7 of them.
Infection, I don't think we need that.
I think we can. Yeah.
Sacrifice and offerings is the same as worship to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good call.
Scripture could be the
Scripture,
same
story.
as story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Betrayal, scripture, and story.
Maybe legend.
What else am I changing? You said sacrifice. And
I think
offerings is the
story,
same thing.
fable, legend, and scripture are all kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So we could just say legend. The only thing is that fable does have an aspect to it that is different than that. But what are we at? 1, 2, 3.
It's all scripture and religion.
Okay.
Scripture.
We have 5 more to get rid of.
We're getting rid of scripture.
This might be stillness and silence. They're both the absence of something. Yeah.
Yeah, but they both appeared on the wall.
Those are just the concepts. Like I said, there are many different
Yeah,
words
okay.
that
It
you
could
can
be something
use.
else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can probably just use one.
Yeah, I think silence makes the most sense.
Silence would be after myth, even, right?
Corruption could be rot as well, like corruption of the teachings.
Rot is just it decaying as people
Yeah, decay.
forget it, right?
Yeah.
So corruption is sooner, I think, when people believe it.
So let's put corruption after scripture.
Were we getting rid of scripture, or do we want to keep it?
I think we're keeping it for now.
I think betrayal would go after, before ascension in most cases, or maybe after ascension. If
that's the
betrayal is the
betrayal
concept of
the god.
yeah, before.
So betrayal, stripped of power, and it being killed is one. Okay.
Oh, followers turning on God. Okay. Well, that would come, corruption. I think
abandonment has to be up higher.
Honestly, abandonment and betrayal could be the same thing.
Or abandonment and stripped of power.
It could be, yeah.
And being stripped of power, I think, also can fit. Yeah, I agree. Could fit into that.
Could fit into abandonment and
Betrayal.
betrayal.
That's so hard because I think betrayal and abandonment do have a different vibe, but I think the idea is murder, death, like death can be also them being abandoned.
We're down to 15 on this list, just so everybody knows. It's exciting cutting them off.
I'm so
It
glad
is
we're
very
doing this
cool.
as players and not as characters right now.
Yeah. I mean,
I
either would be allowed and interesting, but yeah, this is fun
Does
as well.
anybody have a pen?
Well, I don't think we need myth.
I don't know what a pen is. Do we have a
Do we?
quill?
Yeah, in character, Constantine is staring at a wall.
No,
and
I
being
imagine
like,
that.
No, I'm kidding.
What I'm imagining is that you guys are having this conversation, but it's just
Yeah.
like translated into whatever your characters
Yeah.
would be saying. But it is a philosophical discussion that, you know,
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be neat to do a puzzle that's like, well, what if we just sit and talk, you know, kind of like talk about the concept of this. So yeah, you don't have to do
I
it in
think-
character for sure.
I think sacrifice and offerings is the same as worship, because worship has those things in them in some religion, but
Yeah.
not
Okay.
in others. But
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
all
Fair.
worship.
Yep.
Yep.
I need to ask this question so my brain can get rid of it, because I'm sure it's already represented in here. Where do like holy wars fit into this?
Yeah,
Spain.
I would think
feel like
the
that would be
corruption or
forbidden.
rot.
Corruption. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
because
worship,
it's the
depending
moment
on the
you
god.
start using.
I think it happens.
Yeah,
after that.
yeah.
No,
But,
no, no.
but that's like
No.
the corruption of
Yeah,
the idea,
there-
right?
Yes, there is a difference between like, you know, worshiping and then using that myth to fight your war or as a
Yeah.
reason to. Yeah, those are two separate concepts, I think.
Worship is devout. Corruption is power.
Yeah. I think we can potentially get rid of the murder and death. I mean, I think that's narratively correct, but I mean,
Depends on the myth because most gods
Yeah.
are killed by another god or
and it is a big deal that
circumstance.
they're killed. Yeah. Okay,
You
hold
think
on.
a
Where
legend
we at?
comes before corruption?
Yeah,
guess it
because
doesn't-
there needs to be something. There needs to be a legend to corrupt.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Do we need to have life? Because if a god is not, not all gods are born, they become gods when they perform the miracle and are witnessed. Right?
I'd agree with that.
Okay, so where are we at? 1, 2,
Yeah, we're
3,
at
4,
13
5,
right
6,
now.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one for good luck.
What is the death?
we
is
just
the
have an
death
extra
after-
piece. It's fine.
What is the death after betrayal?
That's like when they're killed. Like when the god is killed
The
in
actual
most myths.
being
They're
is
like
dead.
actual. Yeah.
Othin becomes
could get-
Odin.
We could get rid of silence because that could just be sort of bundled in with memory, like forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just say like forgetting instead of death of memory, just to simplify it for
Not 12?
us. That should be 12.
Yep.
Want
as
to
well.
read them off?
Yep, go for it.
So after we in character discussed this in the room with the ticking clock.
Wow, that was
in the
quick.
background.
We really figured that out. Hopefully this works.
I think Cora would be the one to have written this somehow similar to me. So whatever we ended up choosing to write,
Mm-hmm.
once we get our list, we would reference it. I think Esteban, since he was telling the stories, I think I would want him to say it. I would hand the list out to him.
Okay. All right. The death of a god starts with miracle, witness, ascension, worship, scripture, legend, corruption, betrayal, death, rot, myth, and the true death, memory, forgetting.
As you're saying these words, you can hear the sound of pen on parchment, and the gears start going faster. The closer you get to the end of these words, the clock begins to move. When you say the first word, it moves to 1 and then 2. And as you are telling these stages of death, and when you finish, there is nothing but silence. And then the clock is gone, and there is a doorway. And that is where we're going to end the session. Well done.
I'm sweating.
Well done. My list was birth, heroism, betrayal, martyrdom, worship, exaltation, legend, myth, abandonment, corruption, rot, mockery, silence.
Oh, mockery.
Yeah.
Mockery.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But again, those concepts were covered. But I was surprised by how many times my words came up the same as yours. Like, you guys picked similar words. And you kept saying like betrayal and death and I'm surprised martyrdom didn't come up. Yeah, like just the same words. But yeah, it was really, really good. But that is where we end today's session. Thank you so much for playing.
Cool.
We will be back next week with a surprise. Ah! What? Can I hit the button? I can hit the button. Okay, we love you. Bye.
They don't wanna let it go. Oh, I'm feeling low again. Ain't shit I owe to them. They don't wanna let it go. Giving every piece of my soul. You say you don't know how to treat me, no. Giving every piece of my soul. You say you don't know how to treat me, no. Giving every piece of my soul. You say you don't know how to treat.
Hold on, I'll catch up, but let me just clean off my shoe. I have some dust on it.